Well, the country's largest retailer told to, quote, eat the tariffs. That's what President Trump's response on social media after Walmart announced last week it would likely be increasing prices. The company warned everything from bananas to child car seats could soon become more expensive despite the recent tariff rollbacks. Our Queen City News chief business correspondent Taylor Young joins us now. And Taylor, the president is essentially directing a private company to take on the losses.
Yeah, President Trump is pretty much telling Walmart to absorb the cost of these tariffs. The president went as far as pointing out the fact that Walmart made billions of dollars in revenue last year. He says this company can afford to eat some of those costs and not pass them on to consumers. He said that he and customers will be watching this very closely. Now, I will point out that while the president cannot legally tell a private company not to raise its prices, Trump is right when alluding to Walmart having a pretty successful 2024. Last year, the company made around $650 billion in revenue, a 6% increase from the previous year. And while the majority of retailers actually watched customers really dial it back due to inflation last year, Walmart saw the opposite. It had a strong year with its primary customer base, which is low to middle income households, and it also attracted higher earners as well, people who make six figures and were looking for more affordable options. But all of that to say, Walmart is a business, right? So its goal is to put products on its shelves, make a profit. And when you have, the fact that it's going to cost companies more money just to put products on their shelves, it's very common for a big or mom and pop shop business to raise prices to offset that cost.
And Taylor, has Walmart responded to the president's comments or given any insight on what the customers can expect?
So it has not commented publicly. There are reports that an executive with Walmart has had a conversation with an official on the Trump administration, but it has not commented publicly on kind of what transpired during that conversation. What we know right now is from what the CEO said during an earnings call last week, which is that, we are doing our best to keep our prices low. That's pretty much their business model, right? But that they can only absorb so much in this, quote, reality of narrow retail margin. So the company has also not alluded to how much prices could be raising. That could have a lot to do with the fact that they're still trying to figure out exactly what these tariffs look like and when they're coming. But in terms of when we could be seeing these prices rise, the company said as early as the end of the month and even more coming in June.
Okay, so there might be some thinking, oh, that's just Walmart, okay? They're raising their prices, but there's other options out there. But there's really more to this, right?
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, Walmart is massive. It's the country's largest retailer. It serves over millions of Americans and has over 100,000 suppliers. So not only would this be increasing everyday goods for a large chunk of the American consumer base, but also Walmart is extremely influential. Just given the fact of how many customers it has and how many suppliers it also works with. So it is very common to look at Walmart as a major indicator for what's coming for the rest of the retail industry. So if Walmart is likely to increase its prices, which it sounds that that's the stance it's going to continue to have moving forward, we could likely see more retailers do the same, especially, retailers that are a similar size as Walmart, or even just the smaller ones, the mom and pop shop businesses here in Charlotte could also be having to raise their prices. We know that some breweries have had to do that, some restaurants have had to do that, so that could be something that we could be seeing. So this is something that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on, from customers to other retailers. The President of the United States, says he'll be watching, so only time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about all the eyes on it. We know you're going to be watching this as well as all these prices come in, and I'm just going to save some money to hopefully for some of those more expensive groceries. All right, Chief Business Correspondent Taylor Young, thank you so much.